In Genesis 41, Joseph's life takes a dramatic turn, revealing the transformative power of God. 2 years after interpreting the dreams of the butler and the baker in prison, Joseph remains forgotten, but everything changes when Pharaoh has disturbing dreams that no one in his court can interpret. He dreams of 7 fat cows being devoured by 7 lean cows and 7 full ears of grain being consumed by 7 dry ears. The butler, finally remembering Joseph, tells Pharaoh about the young Hebrew with the gift of interpreting dreams. Joseph is quickly taken from prison and brought before Pharaoh. Joseph humbly declares that the interpretation of dreams belongs to God and reveals that the dreams represent 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine in Egypt. Impressed by Joseph's wisdom, Pharaoh appoints him governor over all of Egypt, tasking him with administering the years of plenty and preparing the country for the years of famine. Joseph is given a ring, fine clothes, and a position of honor, showing God's grace in raising someone from despair to power. This is God. Genesis 41 illustrates God's power to transform lives and use adverse circumstances to accomplish His purposes. Joseph, who began as a slave and prisoner, is exalted to the position of governor of Egypt, demonstrating that faithfulness to God is not in vain. His years of waiting and suffering were not wasted, each moment was preparation for the role he would play in God's plan. Joseph's humility in giving glory to God for the interpretation of his dreams reflects his deep faith. The narrative emphasizes that God has control over the times and seasons, using the cycle of plenty and famine to accomplish His greater plans. Genesis 41 reminds us that even in the midst of uncertainty, God is working behind the scenes to prepare us for greater purposes. Just as Joseph remained faithful and used his gifts to serve others, we are called to trust God and be good stewards of what has been entrusted to us. Subscribe to the channel, and stay with us until the end for a message that could change your life. The story of Joseph in Genesis 41 fits well into the cultural and administrative context of ancient Egypt. The pharaoh, as supreme ruler, was often associated with dreams and visions, which were seen as messages from the gods. Dream interpretation was a highly valued practice, with ancient records such as the Egyptian Book of Dreams detailing methods for interpreting visions. Joseph's appointment as administrator reflects a common practice in Egypt, where viziers or high-ranking officials were chosen to oversee the economy and store resources in times of crisis. Excavations at sites such as El Lahan have revealed grain stores and storage complexes dating back to the time of the pharaohs, corroborating the description of preparation for years of famine. The description of Joseph receiving a ring, fine clothing, and a gold necklace reflects practices documented in Egyptian inscriptions, where such items symbolized authority and honor. This historical context reinforces the authenticity of the biblical narrative. Scholars view Genesis 41 as one of the most significant moments in Joseph's life, showing his rise to become a central figure in God's plan. The story is a classic example of divine providence, where Joseph's suffering and faithfulness culminate in a greater purpose. The interpretation of dreams is often seen as a sign of divine wisdom bestowed upon Joseph, highlighting his connection to God. Joseph's being placed in a position of authority in Egypt is seen as a harbinger of the redemption and preservation of his family, who will be saved during the years of famine. Theologians also reflect on the contrast between Joseph's humility and the pride of Pharaoh's interpreters, showing that true wisdom comes from God. Joseph's appointment as governor is a testament to the fact that God can use anyone, regardless of their circumstances, to accomplish His eternal purposes. Archaeological finds in Egypt shed light on the context of Genesis 41. Excavations at sites such as Saqqara and Tel el-Daba have revealed advanced grain storage systems, confirming the practice of stockpiling food for times of scarcity. Ancient inscriptions and papyri show that Egypt had a highly organized administrative hierarchy, with viziers and other officials responsible for the economy and distribution of resources. The use of signet rings, such as the one given to Joseph, was common to symbolize authority, and gold necklaces were often worn to distinguish leaders. Texts such as the Egyptian Book of Dreams show that the Egyptians believed deeply in the meaning of dreams and often consulted interpreters to understand divine messages. These archaeological finds not only validate the cultural elements described in Genesis 41, but they also demonstrate the historical accuracy of the narrative. The story of Joseph in Genesis 41 inspires us to reflect on how God can turn challenges into opportunities. Just as Joseph waited patiently and remained faithful in difficult times, we too are called to trust in God's plan for our lives, even when we do not understand the circumstances. Joseph's ability to manage the resources of Egypt reminds us of the importance of being good stewards of what God entrusts to us, whether in times of plenty or times of need. Today, the story teaches us to face crises with wisdom and forethought, knowing that God can empower us to overcome challenges. Joseph's rise from prisoner to governor is a testament to the fact that faithfulness, humility, and trust in God can take us to places we never imagined. This narrative continues to resonate, showing that no matter the circumstances, God is working to accomplish His purpose in our lives. Never, ever give up. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share, and remember, each day is a new opportunity to call on the name of the Lord. Until next time.